What's up, fellas?
Nothing. We'll just let this roll for a few minutes and then send them so I can put them in.
All right.
Fucking didn't put it on loop. Dumb.
The autumn wind is a pirate, blustering in from sea. With a rollicking song he sweeps along, swaggering boisterously. His face is weather-beaten. He wears a hooded sash, with a silver hat about his head, and a bristling black mustache. He growls as he storms the country, a villain big and bold. And the trees all shake and quiver and quake as he robs them of their gold. The autumn wind is a raider, pillaging just for fun. He'll knock you round and upside down and laugh when he's conquered and won.
The king and his men stole the queen from her bed.
He's got a touchdown!
Bound her in her bone.
Jones takes it
The seas be ours, and by the powers where we will roam.
Salute Raider Nation. Appreciate all you guys showing up tonight. Salute to the chat, the mods, everybody on the panel. We got Chris from Protect the Shield podcast. AJ from 24 Graphics, and Sergio from Raider Stat. So appreciate all you guys showing up tonight. And if you guys want to say something, feel free to say it.
Yeah, I'm glad to be on, man. Thank you for the invite. Looking forward to repping for my boy 24 Graphics, man.
Heck yeah. AJ, you got something you want to say or what? Long story short, it's going to be AJ's first YouTube live out here, so he's probably having a little issue. He'll be back in a second. But long story short, it's going to be his first live that he's going to be doing on his channel, dude. So we're going to start doing something like this every single Saturday, bringing other people from different podcasts, different YouTubes, different interviews, just so we can get used to getting to know the nation, everybody like that. So like I said, it'd be a good interview for him. He really wanted Chris on here, man. So I talked to him about a week or so ago, asked him to come up on. He said, like you said, anything for the nation. Really good guy. So if anybody isn't subscribed to his channel yet, man, make sure you go check him out. We'll get your link up here in the chat here in a few minutes if it ain't in there already. And outside of that, like I say, make sure everybody go check him out, man.
Appreciate it. I love what you guys are doing over here, man. You guys doing good work for the nation, man. I couldn't say no.
Heck yeah, I appreciate it too, man. Like it was, I appreciate it because you did. You were right over there pretty easily, so I really appreciate it, man. And I've always said, like over on DSR, man, we always like to have debated talks, man. There's never any debacle against people. Football is passionate to begin with, and if it ain't passionate to people, then maybe they shouldn't be in it as much as we are, you know, because exactly, because I've always make sure I emphasize on that all the time, man, that there's going to be talks in there that are going to be, people are going to be talking about the same thing, just looking at it two different ways. And a lot of people get upset about other things. Around here, we don't do that. We debate, and then outside of that, we move on and go on, because that's how it's supposed to be. Outside of C-Dub, appreciate you stopping by, man. Frickin' Critique, John, frickin' Ozzy, everybody else, man. I appreciate all you guys coming through here, man. Appreciate all of you. Here's AJ right here. So, AJ, you hear me?
Mark, can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, man. I'm glitching out right now a bit, but
I was just telling everybody how it was going to be your PTS Dustin salute, counting the hours for our preseason. Heck yeah, man. Salute, Charles. Appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you stopping by. AJ, I was just telling everybody I was going to be your first podcast out here this year that you wanted Chris up on here. Pretty much telling him that it was going to be your first show for the start of the season. So if you want to go on from there, you're more than welcome to, man.
Yeah, man. All I want to say is, man, it's my first show. Salute to everyone in the chat. Salute to everyone tuned in right now, man. And let's see how far this goes, man.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be good, man. We all had to do a first show at once, man. I remember mine. Mine was kind of a shit show, man. But you already ahead of the 8 ball, man. Proud of you.
Man, thank you.
And like I said, anybody and everybody, if you guys haven't subscribed to Chris or AJ, make sure you go check out their channels. They're inside the chat in the Nightbot. They're going to be posted in there if we can. Somebody can get Chris's and post his, and AJ's is in the Nightbot for sure. So, like I said, I think Chris's is in there 100%. I just make sure.
Yeah,
so
Chris is in the Nightbot. I'm making sure.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. So AJ is in charge of that, so he usually puts that in there. So like I said, go sub to both of them. Got great content, great stuff. Chris got a lot of good stuff on his. He does interviews with professionals, dude. I've seen a lot of his tape with professional coaches, players. I mean, he gets a lot of good information over there. He gets a lot of good stuff going on. So like I said, if you haven't checked him out yet, make sure you go up there, check him out, give him a follow. They have an actual whole little team that goes on over there between them and a few other people. So like I said, you can follow their base and their people. So like I said, they're a really good group over there, man. So make sure to check them out.
Sure, thank you. Shout out to Charles Washington, man. It's my guy. It's good.
Hell yeah, he is. He's always good.
Yeah.
Says you have real non-believers on your show last night. Good grief. Hey, you're telling me, hey,
yeah,
Charles,
yesterday.
You're fucking telling me, bro. Like, hey, me and Sergio were literally talking about that shit an hour ago. I literally got woke up to him calling me, telling me about it, dude. I don't, today we got off early because we're in harvest season. So I've been working hard, and then we got a funeral today. So went home, passed out for like an hour, dude. Woke up, hey, I got surgery over here. What the hell is going on with that live last night? So they blame me, man. It's part of the trip. Some nights are better than others, man. So it's just you got to get all the kinks out before we get going in the year. There's a lot of hours and a lot of time spent on these shows. So some days are gonna be better than others. It's just how you got to look at it.
It happens every time too. Whenever I'm not on the live, I'm like, why does all the crazy stuff happen when I'm not there?
Like I need to be part of the Springer show. So all right, AJ, if you want to get in here, man, bring up your topics or whatever you want to talk on, man. It's your show. Go with it.
Man, I'm just going off what you guys are saying at this point. It's like you missed something, man. It's like when you miss that one day in school and you have the president show up to your school, like how you missed it because you had sneezing or something, and it's like everything that happened, the president just gave out $1 million to every student, and particularly your class. Like, man, it happens like that, bro. All right, but man, what I wanted to start off is tomorrow, our first preseason game. We're actually nationally televised. The NFL doesn't pay us so much for it, probably but we have the spotlight now. So tomorrow,
hey, your mic is windy. Hey, your mic is blowing hella hard in the wind.
Oh yeah, it's the wind. Or is it better now?
Yeah, it was just muffling up like I couldn't hear you over it.
Yeah. All right, man. But back to what I was saying, man. Tomorrow, 1 Pacific, 4 Eastern, we kick off against who else but the Niners, Start off the year, technically this year, and that's how we're starting off the season this year, or the quote-unquote season. So if you guys want to add on to that, you can, but that's all I'm really going to start off in before I get into a specific topic.
Yeah, I think it's exciting, man. I think we're hearing a lot of good stuff from training camp. I think one thing that was killing me, a lot of our fans, they're so pessimistic just because we've been bad for so long. But I just want to see our team go out there, play against another team, live bullets going on. We've been hearing a lot of good stuff about that defense, man. So I don't know about you guys, but I'm hyped, man. I'm hyped to see what this defense does.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, it's been I'm trying not to overhype a little bit just because it's still the preseason, but it's really great to hear because we even talked about in our lives, hey, defense is making our offense look like it's trash. Let's see how they stand up to par with the Niners. And then they make the Niners offense look trash. And now we're over here confused, questioning ourselves
is this the same D?
Good or what's going on here? And it's mostly the secondary is just popping off. Ever since we signed Marcus Peters, I mean, I've been kind of against it for a while, but then after I'm hearing all this, I'm like, man, he's probably it's like when we got Charles Woodson back, they just changed the whole secondary and stuff like that.
It's a mentality, man. Getting the ball is a mentality. That's kind of what I'm on, because at the end of the day, even if we do suck this year, let us Raider fans enjoy this moment. Let us get hype at least for something. If we end up being 3-14, whatever. But at least let us right now. We at least are hype, and let us enjoy it, because the rest of the year might be some bullshit. So we'll see. I'm hyped though.
That's facts, dude, because I think the second that Max brought that leadership mentality, dude, where it's it's my way or the highway type shit, you can most definitely see the mentality switch around in our team instantly, dude. Like I've said, dude, we've like they said in the comment just a minute ago, about 8 sacks just in the camp right now, and I mean that's everybody rolling on all cylinders. Usually we'd be lucky if we heard about one guy getting an interception, a pick, a good block on a good player in camp or something, like a Renfro type conversation. We're getting 5 in the same day. The Raiders really don't even know how to react to these type of conversations, because you're hearing it from Peters, you're hearing it from Epps, you're hearing it from Masterson, you're hearing it from Shelley, you're hearing it from 10 different dudes down the line, and then you're looking at your team as a base. And see, I was kind of having these skeptic deals too, because I'm kind of like, man, Jimmy ain't played since November, dude. Like, you're gonna hone in on a certain type of player after a certain type of many times you start playing them, dude. So like, if the defense is remotely good, after about a week of practice, they'll tend to hone in on the quarterback's tendencies, because they're seeing them every single day. These are professionals. Yeah, they're professionals. At the end of the day, it doesn't get negated because they're Raiders defense versus Raiders offense. Those are still they're 11 and 11 professional pros playing at a time. So, those are the things you always got to keep in mind when you're looking at those type of things. And when you're looking at the mentality that Max is bringing to it, Max is bringing that dog, dude, where you're watching these other dudes want that dog. Like Spillane even saying, where most people would always say to protect your zone, protect your area, Spillane's like, hell no, get out of there and go get that shit. Like literally seek it out. We'll pick it up and clean it up later. He's like, some of these we're going to get, some of them we're going to get and others we're not. It's just how it's going to be. But the ones that we do make those big plays could be game changers. And when you start hearing a player say those type of things, and the blue collar mentality and those type of things of never quitting, getting after the ball over and over and over and over, dude. And then you're sitting here saying like, damn, we got Max at that level, but now we got this linebacker that none of us really know physically, that damn feels like he's on that fucking level too, because he's spitting those words out at the press conference on the box saying like, hey, that mentality that Max got, I got. And then you got other guys coming up in the presser that's validating it, where they're like, Max with that championship attitude, and Robert coming with that same attitude. So like, you got to think like this is something we're not used to, because like I said, you'll be lucky if you hear it a few times, or throughout this is popping up daily, bro, daily. And then to go into the Raiders or to the Niners, and people like last night were saying like, oh, you can't really count it because of the quarterback. Hey, bullshit. Purdy went in undefeated all the way through. Great fucking team, all the way to the AFC Championship game before he getting hurt. To just negate his play and act like our defense isn't good is crazy.
Not only that,
hell,
but you're negating their play caller Kyle Shanahan.
Exactly.
Yeah. And that's a great point right there, because he's one of the best in the business. And to just negate his play style like he doesn't know what the hell he's doing is insane. He's done it. Listen, he's done it with even with Jimmy coming to the Niners. Like, Kyle ain't no joke when it comes to the offense. He knows his shit very, very well, dude. And
even as a coordinator, he was top notch. Even thinking when he was who was he
Atlanta.
with? Yeah. Well, they had that meltdown in the Super Bowl, but he's always architect some of the top offenses, so you can never
even
take that
look
from
at
him.
The coordinators defense and offense that learned under him. They've been all surpassing too, like McDaniel, D'Amico Ryans, Robert Saleh. Like they've all been doing their stuff very successfully.
Yeah, he got a nice coaching tree under him.
And Charles, I get it, bro. Like, a lot of people are going to be skeptic on the team, because people are going to say, sit and say like, hey, we've seen this before. We've seen this with our team before. I would have to disagree. Like, I get it. Like, every year the Raiders fan base gets to a point where they're like, we're better, because they're bringing that hype. That's just who we are, dude. Like, you're going to say it every year, because I've always said the minute the season's over, I think we're going undefeated the very next year. You know what I mean? Like, that's just how I feel about our team. So, salute, AJ. So, like, when those conversations come up, but when you look at this team, like, this is different for sure, man. The offense is competing at a high level, dude. When they get out there, the defense is competing on a high level. When they're out there, dude, it's a back and forth mentality. And I feel like when you're competing at that type of level, it actually makes the offense way better, because if the defense does tend to make this jump, like, and I'm just saying sarcastically, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but for instance, the Eagles did do this. The Eagles jumped from the 30th ranked defense all the way to the 4th ranked defense in a year's time. So if the Eagles can make that massive of a jump and be ready for that type of move, if the Raiders are about to make a substantial jump like that, you got to be ready for it too, and I feel like the vibe that they're bringing, the mentality, like the pickoffs, dude. Look at Bennett, dude. I said Bennett a few weeks back, dude. I called this dude. I said, hey, when we were doing our shit, I said, hey, he'll be our number 2. I said when we were grabbing Peters, he would be our 1 with him being our 2. And I call that. And this dude's popping up like a bat out of hell.
Yeah, I remember when we drafted him.
Yeah, I remember that.
I love that draft pick. Like after I was studying him and stuff, and I'm like, I don't understand why this dude wasn't picked earlier, because this guy, his partner Deontay Banks was picked in the first round. I'm like, I don't understand why this guy wasn't picked first, because he's got like 10 times better stats than Deontay Banks.
Yep.
Like his entire career, like I think he's played like over 1,000 coverage snaps, and he's allowed only a passer rating of in the 40s. Like that's insane at a college level.
Yeah.
And then he's over here now in joint practices and training camp, and he's over here balling out. Of course, he's going to make rookie mistakes, but he's been like balling out the entire time.
I love just hearing his want to get better. You know what I'm saying? Like his, getting beat by Devontae, and then talking to Devontae, hey, what did you see? What did I do wrong? What gives you problems? People like that are students of the game. That's what takes you to the next level. That's the stuff that Darrelle Revis did when he was a rookie. Charles Woodson did. Champ Bay, like that's what the greats do. They want to know what they did. I think the best part of that whole story was no one else wanted to get up on that one-on-one against Devontae. Everybody else was kind of sitting back because Devontae been cooking everybody in practice. So, some cats just don't want to get cooked. But while everybody was sitting in the back, this young gun just comes up, says, fuck it, I'll do it. He got cooked, but who cares? He learned from what he did. That's the mentality, that's going to take him to the next level. So I'm excited to watch him grow and develop.
Another thing, too, to look at is you got to give very deep credit. Like if the defense does improve at like a significant level, like not like going from like 28 to like 10 or something, like at least going like 28 to maybe like the low 20s or
20.
Dare I say
like even 20
flat, like
19
good. Or 18.
Yeah.
You got to give credit to Patrick Graham, since these are like the players that he looked out for at the Senior Bowl and like conversations and stuff, especially Jacorian Bennett. And whenever Tyree Wilson's healthy and all these other players and stuff like that.
Nesta was showing out.
Nesta too. I remember. I was
literally
started out.
Bro, Nesta. If this dude, a seventh rounder, is just a starting nose tackle and is just a bully, like that dude, he's got, in my opinion, I said this to Dustin all the time. I'm like, this guy might be like our next Max Crosby, the dude like no one thought about. Everyone slept on him. First year, the dude just balls out and is a bully on a defensive line. Even they said at the joint practice, this dude was bullying starting guards.
Yep.
And they were like, why is this rookie bullying him?
Yeah.
Yep.
I love it,
man. That he's just great. And you look at it like this, Patrick, this is the thing I think was really big time key, and I spoke on this in our show about Graham. I was kind of big time hater on Graham for most of the year, dude, just because I felt like he was throwing those in games intentionally. There were certain play calls that was shady as hell, pressing when they should have been out when they should have been in. Just a lot of fucking coverage. But the thing that I give Patrick Graham a lot of credit on him, man, and you can see the development inside of our camp this year, was him coaching the fucking Senior Bowl. Because when he coached the Senior Bowl, he's able to see these players. He's able to see how they play. He was able to use them at very high levels. And then now he has them. He has what did he get? 6 out of the 9 picks are Senior Bowl players. And then they're the ones showing up. They're all the ones showing up, dude, and all showing up at very high levels. So I think it's crazy. I think it's crazy when you see him with what Graham's done in 1 year. And this is why I think it's so hard for us to hate on people, our coaching staff, our people, because they just don't turn it around that day, But let's be real. Look at our team 1 year later on both sides, offense, defensively as a whole. I mean, we're miles ahead of where we've ever been.
Like everyone, like every day, kept saying, "Oh, the locker room's lost. The locker room's lost. The coaches lost the locker room." Meanwhile, every day we're just getting that. Even the players are saying like the locker room's not lost or anything. They feel, what's the words I'm looking for? They feel like united more than ever, too. And you got like they interview players like, "How do you feel different about the roster now?" You got AJ Cole. I don't know if it was a diss on some players or not, but he's over here saying, well, we no longer got divas on the team, or we got no longer like people that give us headaches on the team anymore. I mean, you can say if it's a diss or not to certain players that we're not going to name, but even then you got players like just saying how they feel with the roster, and it's just all positivity. Granted, they're like sometimes supposed to say that, but when you look at it on the field, rather than what their words, like obviously they say actions speak louder than words. Like what we're looking at with the actions, like it's looking like this, specifically the defense, it's like coming together really smoothly, especially with Max making it like his priority to make sure the defense is like a freaking unit like coming together.
No, that's a good point. I think one thing that people fail to realize that our defense got better as the year went on last year anyway. Now, granted, we did get exposed a couple times later in the season, but we had some injuries. But you know, that D, we went on a nice little streak where that D was really balling, you know, and then even if we talk about those games that we were up 20 point or whatever, always people always want to say how we lost leads and stuff, but the fact is I watch Patrick Graham's defense basically shut down KC in the first half. So at the end of the day, we may have to get better at doing adjustments, but the fact is it's proven that his scheme can stop or slow down KC. That's all we need. Now, as long as he can make some adjustments, be able to play chess just like Andy Reid plays chess, then we got something, man. And anyone who's played football before, schemes matter. When you're learning different schemes, different years, that's why I think Trayvon Moore is going to have a bounce back year, because it's hard, man. Learning a certain concept and learning certain, schemes, and then all of a sudden your coach is going, and now they're saying you have to unremember that and then do this. And that's why I'm not the biggest Carr fan, but I still have to feel for him. It's like when you're getting almost a different play caller every few years, it takes time, so, and I think these guys on the defense, with that continuity, like I'm telling you, watch Trayvon ball out this year. That's going to be my bold prediction.
Trayvon Merrick with Marcus Epps. I've seen. Yep, man. When I've seen in camp, it's like Marcus Epps and Trayvon Merrick are like buddy. Like they're buddy. They're gonna be
or what Nate Hobbs calls them the light skin duo.
Yup, the light skin tandem, man. That was funny.
That was funny.
Yeah. Man,
that's the one thing.
Go ahead.
Go. No, you go.
All right, man. So what I was gonna say is that the safety tandem, I feel like the whole secondary's improved now. We brought in guys Jacorian Bennett in the draft. We've got, let me think, we got Christopher Smith. We got what is his name? Something Johnson. I think it was Jaquan Johnson from Buffalo. So we brought in more guys to help. Like we brought in a veteran presence and also a young core of guys that could develop to help the guys that we already have in the room. Like we knocked out Abram and we got Marcus Epps to replace him. We knocked out guys that we've had in the past and interchanged them with guys that fit the scheme. Like let's say, for example, we brought out Casey Hayward and brought in Marcus Peters, just as an example. We brought out Jonathan Abram and we brought in Marcus Epps as an example. We could even go to the linebacker room. We brought out Denzel Perryman to add Robert Spillane. Like let's just be honest. These are guys that could fit the scheme more and just hopefully could stay healthy longer. And it's like we're bringing in guys that fit our scheme, that know Patrick Graham's defense. That's why we brought in like a handful of like guys that played with them in the past. Like we brought in like one or two like guys that played with them with the Giants as depth guys, because they know and could teach these guys even higher, or even like practice camp bodies, that this is what you need to do to succeed in this defense. And that's just going to overall help us.
I agree. No, that's a good point, man.
Yep. Like I've said, I think I spoke on Morick a few months back about the type of player he is. I've always said, like, there's certain players that are considered man players and certain people that are zone. And I don't consider them as in, like, my definition is like in man, I can go out and face up anybody at any given time, no matter what team I'm in. And zone, I mean, is that I depend on people around me so I can be able to play good football. I'm not that individual that has that dog in him. And I've said this about Trayvon Moorick, that Trayvon Moorick's style is more of a zone style where he needs the corner, he needs the linebacker, he needs the safety to play good ball for him to play good ball. And I've said once you start putting those type of players around each other is when you're going to start seeing players like him pop up. And the minute that they do, he starts getting a pick in camp. He starts playing around, because when you're looking at player tangibles, a lot of player tangibles are going to be zone type players, because not everybody has I'm better than you type mentality. A lot of those guys have we're better than you mentality. I can get to you, but I'm depending on this guy to come from behind to help me out.
Everybody got to do their
Yeah,
job.
exactly. And a lot of times when people go to war and fight, you're depending you don't need to look back because you already know the dudes are there to be behind you. And when you're practicing in practice, you practice to get through people to be with that dude at those points in engagement. So my point is that now that these pieces are all starting to fit themselves around, dude, like you can start seeing the team start coming alive massively. And I told people, don't forget the Patriots actually scouted Trayvon Moorick, dude. I said this the whole time. They had him high on their list. They actually wanted Trayvon Moorick over there the year that we drafted him. Ziegler was just here, and we were lucky that we got him the year before, But all I'm saying is the Patriots did scout him to put him on their team.
No, I agree.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I agree, man. I think that and the thing is, like as Justin said, so a lot of people look at like the whole man versus zone, mindset, and I think that both are good. But if you really think about most of the great defenses, the defenses have to work together. They have to work whole as a collective. So it's think about back when we had Nnamdi Asomugha. Yeah, he would lock down his side, but the rest of the defense was trash. So it doesn't matter if you got a couple guys that just does their thing. Like you guys, just to be able each level of the defense being able to communicate and do what they're supposed to do, be where they're supposed to be. That's what Trayvon, thrives at. And if we can do that and get that around him, he'll be a beast. Because I think he could be a ball hawk. He's not going to be the one that's going to be able to guard Kelsey one-on-one and stop him. I don't know one in the NFL really can. But, I think he could be able to, take away that deep pass, make sure, keep everything in front of him. I like him, man, honestly. And I really think that year 2 is going to be huge for him, and I really love to see how our defense is communicating. Because again, anyone who's played on the defense side of the ball, it's all about communication. When people are coming in and out of your zone, and you got to switch off defenders and stuff like that. So this is going to be a year, man. I don't expect us to do the whole increase like the Eagles did, going to the 4th spot. But yeah, if we can get to around 17 to 20, something like that, I don't care. Nobody say we're a playoff team, man.
Especially if the offense stays in that above average level, considering that they were ranked as like the 12th best.
We were 12th
season. If they can stay around at that level,
and
then if the defense can show improvement, that's obviously just how you get more wins. Obviously, you can probably see at least 2 to 3 more wins with that, and probably get better at closing out games.
And also to move on off the top that we were talking about the offense, a key piece, or at least a piece that heading into last season and the preseason last year, we were he could be the next big guy, but we waived him today. DJ Turner has been cut, and also another guy we literally just brought in from Kansas City, Darius Harris has also been cut, along with adding another running back, Darwin Thompson, and linebacker Kanai Malga. Let's see. I feel like the guys we brought in, feel like probably can't body, see how they do in the preseason. But I feel like the DJ Turner cut was honestly unexpected on my end. I want to hear what you guys think about it. Also,
Did you say Maga came back? You said Maga
came back.
Yeah, Dustin's,
that's a good bring back.
Came back.
Yep. Damn right. See, look at. I keep telling you guys that these dudes they cut. I'm like, that's horrible. Deal. I said it with Chase. I said it with this dude, and we got both them fools right back. So I said both.
The Raiders are on the inside of this show, man. Hey, if the Raiders are watching, hit one of us up, man. We'll gladly do a show. We'll gladly do a show on that platform, man.
Shoot, I'll tell you who I want back. Who I watched yesterday, and he stunk up the joint. Was Stidham. Stidham stunk up the joint for the Broncos. I hope they go ahead and cut him, man. We'll take them back to hold a clipboard, but not good.
$5 million.
Yeah, the thing with
$5 million, man.
The thing with I don't know, man. I gotta say I'm not a big DJ Turner guy, man. I didn't have him making my team. I mean, he's kind of a fan favorite and a feel good dude, but I'm cool, man.
I think a big problem for Turner, especially since like he's also, I guess, trying to desperately stay on the roster since they had him play running back during the joint practices too. Like he's trying to figure out how to stay on the roster. I think it's obvious, like for him, he notices that he's outnumbered by the receivers like that we brought in, like Tucker, Dorsett,
Also,
DeAndre
Philip
Carter,
Dorsett,
Cam
DeAndre
Sims.
Carter,
Like it's kind of tough for him right now to try to like keep up with the roster.
Yep, that's true.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. I think like the Stenham deal. I mean, I would take him over Hoyer. I mean, you're getting the same player. You know what I mean? Same player in return, just younger. So I would take him. Plus, you probably have a better chance to win with Stenham than you would Hoyer. I mean, when was the last time he played? 10 years ago. You know, so you know what I mean. So that's.
I mean,
that's
hey, I wouldn't feel too bad if our QB room was Jimmy, Staten, O'Connell, and Garbers, because whenever Jimmy goes down, at least you still got capable quarterbacks that know the system.
Looking ahead into tomorrow. Oh, go ahead, Chris.
Oh no, I was just saying that. Like to be honest, Hoyer is just he's just an overpaid tutor at this point.
Just like clipboard guy.
Yeah, like he's just there solely to help O'Connell kind of get a quick speed on how to get things going and pretty much how to make sure he kind of fine tunes Jimmy. But one thing I do love, and I don't know if we'll talk about it later, man, and I say it on my show all the time. I do love that it seems like Josh McDaniels is kind of going to the quarterbacks and going to Jimmy and say, hey, what did you like over in Shanahan's offense? What was you comfortable? What was some of the concepts you liked? We're going to try to mesh them into our offense. I think the old Josh McDaniels wouldn't have done that. The Denver guy wouldn't have done that. And maybe even last year, Josh McDaniels wouldn't have done that. So I'm happy to see that he's doing that. And I think it's going to work out, man, because I feel like
he's trying to fast track Jimmy's progress.
Yeah, even doing it towards the defense too. Something that we've been talking about in our lives a lot. How people complain about the most. Like this is the one thing people criticize McDaniels, which was a weird criticism. How McDaniels, despite McDaniels having like a top-ranked offense, he's not a good head coach because the defense was bad. Which we can name a lot of coaches that were in that situation, which is weird.
Yeah.
This offseason, he's been very heavily on the defense, trying to get those guys up to speed to go against his offense. So, especially like when it comes to going against Adams or Jacoby and stuff, like whenever it's like, hey, if he does this, you got to do that because he's anticipating you to like make a mistake or like he's trying to bait you into that. So, Daniels is like trying to very heavily get both sides on the same page. To the point where we start questioning, like, does the offense suck or is the defense good? Does the defense suck or is the offense just too good? So
man, it's a back-to-back chess match.
It is
off season.
Like honestly, and I'm glad you said that, man. It is a back-to-back chess match, and honestly, and that's the one reason why, me personally, I know Richie. People wanted to keep Richie B as a coach, man. And he was a good guy. He seemed nice. But he's not going to be able to win those chess matches against some of the top coaches. And like I get it. He wrote goodbye letters and thank you letters. I mean, that's fine. That's a great sentiment. But he's coached for 30 years and has never been considered a head coach before. And, you know what I'm saying? And people, they're like, oh, well, we had him and he would have did. No, he wouldn't have done better. He wouldn't have. Because he didn't coordinate to do everything. I want somebody that can at least play chess against Andy Reid. Now, granted, Josh McDaniels may not be as good as Andy Reid. I mean, he's probably not. But the thing is, he's an X and O's guy, and he's gonna be able to scheme something to at least fight up against that. Now, if he's an asshole and arrogant or whatever, he's got to fix that within. But me personally, I like the X and O's guy, and just like you said, it's a chess match, and we got to play chess, man.
Yeah, and I just want to say the DJ Turner deal I called. I said the second that the minute in our live when we got Carter, the second we got Carter, I said, the minute we got Carter, I said, yep, there goes DJ Turner. I said right there, I said, this guy got proven backup on the field. He even came in as a fifth depth wide receiver when the Chargers had their players get injured. So he contributed not only in special teams, but as that 5, he contributed actually on field production in the receiver. So I knew it right away.
One of the best gunners in the league.
Hey, did I not? Did I not? I said it the second that happened. I was like, "Yep, he's gonna replace him, man."
Good point.
Yeah, because I like DJ Turner, dude. Like I said, I've talked to him on Instagram. He's told me we can do an interview with him, dude. Like I said, I like DJ Turner. He's my dude. I like him. He has a lot to him. It's just the problem is it's never shown up, dude. And when you look at young players like him and things like that, when I looked at him and I was thinking like Josh McDaniels type system, Wes Welker bodies, Amendola type dudes, I was like, oh, this guy's gonna kill it. Yeah, I thought he was gonna kill it, and then he just never showed up, and that's for him. That's him to blame, nobody else. I've always said if you're a UDFA or a late round pick, dude, you gotta show up twice as much. You gotta show up twice as much as the dude on the board already. Like you gotta be 2 times better than him, not just 1, 2 times better. You know, so
yeah.
And that's all. I liked him, but I did call that one. The second we signed Carter, I knew he was gone. I knew it right then.
Yeah, you made a good point. My high school quarterback was Josh Harris. You guys probably don't remember him, but he was like a Heisman Trophy candidate back in the day, and he was like the first quarterback that made Urban Meyer kind of famous at Bowling Green. So he ended up getting drafted for the Ravens. His name is Josh Harris. He played for the Ravens a little bit, but he was real good at Bowling Green. But so I had an interview with him, and we were just kind of chopping it up, and he was just telling me about just because he got drafted in the 6th round. So he was telling me about how guys that either get drafted real low or these undrafted free agents, they got it tough because practice is all about getting your reps, and you got to like earn your reps. So he was saying just like as a quarterback, he was like, man, in 11 versus 11, I might only get 3 reps, or maybe 4 reps for the whole session, and 2 of them might be running plays. So he's like, man, I got to make the best of those 2 damn reps. So, I say that like DJ Turner, like he probably doesn't get too many reps, but like them 1 to 3 reps you do get, you got to pop. And if you don't pop, it's hard to really make the team and make a name for yourself. So that's what sucks, because he's a decent player, but if you don't get a chance to get the most out of the few reps you get, you're in trouble.
Yep, that's true. And also moving on to here right now, we're just going to take a quick dive into this game because I know there's going to be some rookies. There's going to be some camp guys even guys that we just signed where it's like, can we see these guys on the field? How are these guys going to perform on the field? Who's going to get the bulk of the snaps in this game? Who could possibly be a guy where we look at and we're like, this guy's actually pretty good, and we apply him we use him more often. Let's just see who could be those breakout guys heading into tomorrow and just heading into preseason training camp overall. Guys, panel, give me like at least 2 to 3 guys where it's like this guy's gonna get some snaps and he could bring some potential to the offense, defense, whatever it is, just to the team overall.
For me, I'll start. I think, again, I know we already talked about Nesta. I really think that he's going to get a chance to show what he can do. To be honest, Byron Young, I wasn't too high. I wasn't too high on him, but I've been hearing some good things about, what he's done in joint practice since he got back from injury. So I'm really going to be watching those guys because I think if we can get an interior rush, that's going to be a game changer. If as an interior lineman, if you can beat your guy 1-on-1, because we already know you're not going to get double teamed because they're not going to leave Max by himself, or they're not even going to leave Max on the island. So they're going to try to double team him as much as you can. So if you can win a 1-on-1 internal rush, that is going to cause havoc all day. So man, I'm looking for one of those guys to step up. One of our rookies. And I want to see Neil Farrell step up. I haven't heard necessarily good things about him. So I really hope he steps up because I liked his tape, but he might be on the bubble.
Salute, tuck your soul.
Yeah, man. Wait, who did you say was going to be on the bubble again?
I think Neil Farrell Jr. If he don't step it up, man. I like him. And plus, I'm not a big Matthew Butler guy either, but I want to see Neil Farrell play well.
Yeah, they've been saying, I think like the beginning of the offseason, there were like a bunch of talks that Neil and Matthew were like on the hot seat immediately since they didn't really they didn't have like a lot of games to show themselves last season, despite what was happening with the defense, despite us tanking games. And now we brought in like a bunch of new young tackles, and now they're immediately on the hot seat, especially with Byron Young showing out, coming back from injury. Jade Severa has just been balling out the entire time since he's got here. Jerry Tillery, he's been okay. He's had some flashes. And now it's a question. Like with Matthew Butler, like he's been getting the hot seat the most lately, just because there's been like no news about him at all.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of him.
Neil Farrell, he'll probably be off the hook since he's a nose tackle, so he still has a good chance to be on the roster.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So it just really depends.
Yep.
I mean, my guys I'm excited is going to be, I want to see Bennett in game action. So Bennett, 100% want to watch him in game action against the Niners. White, 100% in game action. Want to see how he runs over there. O'Connell, I want to see 100% because I want to see him drop 5 touchdowns, take the job away from Jimmy in this debate.
Oh man, I ain't ready for that yet.
You don't even know.
Let's work our Jim kind a little bit.
Hey, I just want Aiden to just end this fucking debate and this bullshit. So just give him 3 games, 15 touchdowns. Let's roll.
15
man, let's have at least get something going, man.
Munford's going to be a really big key piece here, dude, to determine that if we would have to put Jermaine to the guard, because I think when you're at the end of the day, I keep trying to tell people about Jermaine's post about him and Miller being the best tackles in the league. You can have that idea, but at the end of the day, Priscilla is going to make sure that it's the best line in the NFL. So I think at those points, if Munford can show up and show that he can win with that type of line, then he's going to move them to the inside because it makes sense to make your line the strongest. And I think at the end of the day, that's what it's about. It's not about people's social media posts and how they go about talking about things. It's about when coaches sit in a room and debate conversations about who's the best 5 on that line. And if that means moving him inside to solidify your line 100%, then that's what they're going to end up doing. So I think Munford's going to be a huge key factor in the preseason, more than people realize, or even probably because Munford can determine exactly how the line can roll at a full rotation with the best depth behind it. Munford to be in the backup is kind of a waste because of the body, the build, the mentality, only giving up 1 sack last year, things of those factors. That brings added talent to the line that we need massively. And I keep trying to tell people it wasn't a coincidence that we were 28th, 29th offensive line and moved to the 10th offensive line over the whole year, even with all the problems that we were going with those guys rotating. So, like I said, I think Munford's going to be a huge, huge piece there that people need to pay attention to. Neil Farrell, I mean, yeah, he hasn't been talked about a lot, but he did get talked about here recently in the camp with the Niners. So, again, I think him and Nesta, Nesta is the guy I'm more excited for because I think he's a 7th round pick, bring him in here and let him just wreck dudes and have that force on our line that we have not had in over 20 years. I think that's massive. That's a massive find, dude. And in the 7th round to say that you're able to find a nose anchor like that, with that type of force, that type of presence, that's something that that's something that's hard as fuck to find.
That's a game changer.
Yeah, it is massively. And the young pick, I've said, dude, people are going to be very surprised about Young. His pressure rate and everything was just as equal to Jalen Carter than anybody in college. So to just sleep on Young like he's not somebody that even matters is crazy as hell because his numbers mimic Jalen Carter, if not better than his in certain categories. So, like I said, Byron Young has to show up in order to be able to, back that up, just like Carter showed up tonight, supposedly, I guess, in his first preseason game.
Yeah.
His first play, he went out there and wrecked dude. So that all I'm saying is if Young wants to be there, it's his choice if he's going to be there or not. Yeah. And the final guy I think that I want to see really a lot is O'Connell with Tucker, man. Like, I want to see how Tucker gels out there in this system, because I think he can be a huge factor in the way that this offense runs this year, because I spoke on this last year about Josh having the offense that he had in New England. He was probably running at like 25-30% of an offense of his style offense.
Yeah.
Where this year he's going to be like 85 to 95% of his offense. Yeah, so having these type of guys and these type of factors are massive game changers within Josh McDaniel's system. So the thing is more about me for Aiden is just I don't like Jimmy. So I'd love to see Aiden just go out there and just destroy him, you know. But the other thing about Tucker is like I really like him, and I spoke on this dude. Ask stats when we drafted this guy. We were watching film on him, and people were saying about his speed. And I was like, nah, dude, there's something about this guy. I kept watching video over and over and over. And I'm like, this guy is gapping dudes and runs. There's no way this dude's running a 4.440.
His coaches said that they clocked at like a 4.27.
Yeah, I've researched that shit, because after I would watch those videos, dude, I was sitting there thinking that this dude is way faster than a 4.4. I was like, that's misleading as hell. So I went and started researching it, and I came across posts that people in the combine that were saying that he had a bad combine run, that's not his time. And then I had coaches that were posting up that he ran a 4.27, 4.29 on the field, where he's been clocked at over 22 mile an hour running. Like, so I was like, yeah, that's more like, because this guy, you can see a guy in tape,
he separates.
He run right through dudes and just gap them, you know, like that's not 4.4, you know.
And joint practice, how he's been just like leaving dudes in the dust the entire time. I'm like, this guy runs definitely faster than a 4.40.
Yeah, no, you can definitely see that. I think one sleeper that I have, and we haven't heard much about him, but a guy that I've been excited about just to see what he does in year 2, right guard. Well, actually, I don't know if they have him listed at left or right, but Netane Moody. I really want to see Netane Moody push for that starting guard spot, because
get that spot outside of
he's one of the strongest guys in the league, and he's had some good moments when he was with Denver. But I think it's all about developing and just really learning the position. But he has like some of the attributes that you can't teach. I mean, this dude is a mauler. He's one of them guys that will be able to go heads up with Chris Jones and some of them other guys that's going to be able to, negate, that strength that they have. So coming into the season, I didn't think that Munford was going to take a step up like he has. So I'm happy to hear that. But in my mind, I was thinking that if we can get Netane Moody to take that right guard spot, and then Luminar stay at the right tackle, but just cut out the penalties, I'm like, that's a solid line. But if Mumford ends up balling and we can slide Luminar in, I'll be okay with that too. But I just don't know how much I trust Mumford just yet. But
hey, I like Moody a lot. Yeah, I like Moody a lot, and I've said I've even placed him in our depth chart as the right guard, because I do believe he has the dog in him to be it, and I've stated him to be it. Yeah. I'm just saying that if you're looking for the best possible line, I believe the best possible line would be Munford right tackle with Luminar inside, because I think he has the more right guard type player body. He has the body to play. He doesn't have to be. Yeah, he's not so reliable on the outside, or reliability on the outside.
Yeah, on the island. You're not on the island.
Definitely reliability.
Yeah, because you're on the island out there with them fast DT.
And I've even
you see how we got Leo Mack.
I've even posted even here in my notes here that not only do I think that I thought Illuminor was going to get it, I also posted right here on there that we would trade Illuminor because Munford would take the starting job and Moody would take the job in the right guard, and then would bring Wagner as the backup and Curtis as the other backup, which would make Illuminor expendable, and then I would trade him.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
Yeah,
but the thing is, he's so cheap though. He signed a real team friendly deal.
Yeah, it was a 1 year, $3 million deal, man.
Yeah,
he did, and that's
a steal.
Yeah, and that's the only thing. The only reason I proposed that is because there's numerous scenarios that take into that consideration. The reason that I proposed that is because you would have had Moody go to the right guard, which means Curtis would, because we would have to put a protection on Curtis and Wagner on the practice squad because we paid them over $200K, dude, and they're fucking they're UDFA players. Yeah, and someone will take them. So we put them to the practice squad.
Even Thayer Munford has, like, he said at a press conference, like, that he feels like that he basically said himself that he's trying to take Jermaine's job right away. He says he sees himself as a starter.
I love that.
Hey, but
I like that competitive energy.
Yeah, can we all agree that we want Alex Bars out of there?
Hell yeah!
Him and Brandon Parker can go yesterday.
That's why I was saying if you moved Munford down and moved Wagner over to behind Munford, and then took Moody and put him down, and then took Curtis and moved him down so he can play rotation.
Everybody's protected.
Then that's where I said that Luminor becomes expendable, because at that point you can use Wagner the same way as you did Munford with a Luminor. You can transfer out Wagner throughout the year in certain, like in the the tight end, it would be jumbo tight end is where Wagner would pop up. In jumbo tight end protection, he would pop up, and then you can season him in those type of moves, which I think would be a great idea because he can play right and left tackle. So if something was to happen, you can play them both. And Curtis can play left guard and right guard, so you can use them in both the same way too. So to me, I felt like that would be better. And just because I know how Ziegler feels like trying to get every single trade possibility whatsoever, like he did with fucking Edwards and everybody else, I think he would be one to get one too. I think he can get him.
Yeah, like if I could even say like some guys that I'm going to be watching for the preseason that I think are sleepers is kind of like how we talked about with Curtis a lot. Like I'm not going to say like he's going to be a starter or anything, but he could be like a starter year 2. Like, immediately, just because like even when you look at his college stats, like he was projected to be a 5th round pick, and the fact that we got him as a UDFA, I think that was a huge steal as a UDFA. Like I even said, like this was probably our biggest steal, just despite it not being a draft pick. In his final year of college, like he started every game and he allowed not a single sack, which was crazy in my opinion. Especially like how good he's been playing, especially at the Senior Bowl, how dominant he was at the Senior Bowl. Like this guy, if you can develop him right, like he can, with him and Dylan Parham, if he's going to be the starter in his 2nd year, like that's going to be like a very dangerous interior, especially depending who's going to be the center. If I can say like on defense, some guy that I'm going to be watching personally, Amari Burney. That's another guy year 2. I feel like he's going to be very dangerous year 2, especially since in college, like he has very high coverage abilities. He's got pass rush abilities, his run stopping. Like he's a very versatile dude, like playing corner, safety, linebacker, like even being placed on the defensive line. Like this guy, Amari Burney, is just all over the place, especially since when everyone really thought that the team was interested in Anthony Richardson, because they went to Florida's pro days and stuff like that. Even Ziegler said it himself that they weren't interested in Anthony Richardson. At first, they were wanting to know what the hype around him was, and then they saw Amari Burney, and they're like, "Oh, I want this guy." So that's how they ended up with Burney as the draft pick, and they didn't really care about Anthony Richardson.
They just said, "You know what? I know he's the hot topic and all that, but I want this guy." You know. Like thinking outside of the box.
You know who I want to see too is Adam Plant. I want to see what Adam Plant does here in.
I want to see the hype
about him. Yep. Yeah, I want to see what he does in the preseason since Wilson's not there. He keeps getting play after play after play because of it. So let's see what he's going to do with it.
Yep.
Hopefully he does take full advantage with it, and he can make. I mean, hey, that's really good if he can make a name of himself, because that means we got another like a young pass rush guy, and that's if Wilson shows that too. Then that means we got a future, especially protection for Max Crosby too, because then that means that everyone's just gunning him a lot.
I got another guy, man. Don't leave out my boy Malcolm Kuntz, man. I'm not giving up
don't
on
even.
That's
Don't
not just
even.
your boy,
Dustin,
man. This is that's been like
I'm not
the
giving up
biggest
on
argument
That's
of the
not like
off season. If they're gonna
Hey,
cut him,
That's not
dude.
like
So when
Kuntz.
I picked Kuntz to us. I actually picked Kuntz when the year we drafted Kuntz. I picked him in that round and to us.
Did you?
And to us. And I've always said, go on Graf's show, dude. Go to Graf's show. He'll tell you every time, dude. I said 10 plus sacks, dude. I advocated that on Graf, Dirty, fucking Raid, fucking Samoa, all of them. Every one of those shows that year, I was like, Kuntz was my dude because I felt like he was going to show up, man. And I always felt like they were unfair to him and didn't give him the chance, dude. And
He's been in the doghouse. He's been in the
yeah,
doghouse.
people advocated him even this year to be cut, dude, and I've even
No, that's
fought
what I'm
dudes.
saying.
I
I
fought
like-
dudes. I was like,
Yeah,
I
and
like
then
Michael
when
I
they,
told
lot,
him,
man.
like,
when they released
hell
the
no.
first depth chart, and it turned out he was part of the second
he
wave,
was
meaning
second,
that they
yeah.
were still very interested in him.
But
Like
that's
Dustin,
it.
especially, was
Hondo,
like, if they wanted to cut him, why would he be like the third guy on the deal?
Yep.
Hondo was speaking very highly of him, man. He said that he's been making some noise. So, at the end of the day, he got to put something on film for us. So, but
Yep.
honestly, for some reason, and I don't know why, because I remember the first game he got in was 2 years ago. I was at the game.
Kansas City.
Yeah, he got a sack the very first
Yeah.
first play. He got in, and then it's like you don't see him no more, man. So I'm like, I just want him to put, stack some days together, man, and get it together. Because I think he could. I don't know, man.
Hopefully they give him a chance. My belief personally is because how Graham is trying to implement his like hybrid, like 3-4-4-3, like an illusion defense. I feel like they're going to use him as an outside linebacker.
3-4.
He's going to be like a stand-up pass rusher. I mean, that'll help him a lot too if they can get him like in coverage deals. Like he'll have to develop in coverage, but that'd be really good for him if they get him as an outside linebacker.
I said where he would stride his best is like the Texans when they had Watt, Clowney, Mars, Mosello, all those dudes, and played in that 3-4 system like that. Kuntz in that outside system will wreck people's lives, dude. He'll come off that edge and destroy you, dude. And I've always advocated Kuntz is that guy, and Kuntz is that dude. I strongly believe it, and I don't give a fuck what anybody says. And I've even advocated that. And look, Ziegler even spoke on this the other day. That could even be validation to Kuntz's deal. I've said there are certain players that have game show up in the motherfucking game, and there's dudes that don't practice well, dude. They're just not practice players. And Kuntz is that dude. I've said Kuntz may be that dude where he doesn't show up in camp, but he shows up in games. And Ziegler spoke about this in one of his pressers the other day, where he says he wishes that they knew why that becomes an issue, why dudes can't show up in the practice, because it's hard for them to be able to gauge what they're going to do in a game if they can't see it in practice.
Yeah, that's true.
And he said, like, guys that show up in those games, dude, are dudes that they can show up to wreck people's lives, but it's just really hard to trust them because you don't see it in practice, and that's it. And I've always said I think that's what Kuntz's issue is he's a game player, not a practice player. Lawrence Taylor type shit, where it's like, get me in the game, I'm gonna fuck you up, dude. But practice.
I agree, man. Because honestly, like, I know a lot of people are trying to say, Chandler Jones. I know he's slimmed down, so he's going to try to play that role as well. But Kuntz is made for the 3-4. Like, I don't think Kuntz will be a 4-3 outside backer. I don't see him as that, and I don't see him as a 4-3 defensive end either. But I do see him on the edge on the 3-4, like outside backer, because he's athletic enough to get out in the flats, and if he needs to go out in his zone and all that stuff. But Dustin, I'm with you, man. I feel like I debate so many people because everybody thinks Kuntz is so trash. I really don't. Like, I still see it in him. I just think he's been in the doghouse because he may not practice that well, which is on him. He gotta do it. But I really want to see him do good in the game tomorrow. So I'll definitely be watching his reps.
And the thing I've said the most about players like Kuntz and Meek Robinson is is regardless of a person's opinion, if they're trash or not, they're still part of the 53-man roster. That's not something you can just fucking overlook. They're not
We
practice
can't do
squad
it.
players.
We can't
Yeah,
do
they're
it.
not. Yeah, exactly. They're not practice squad players. They're not fucking
they're active
dudes
players.
on the outside looking in. He's been on the active 53-man for the whole entire time he's been a Raider. So that shit matters. That matters a lot, dude. So like I said, you can put him third down the line or not. Motherfucker's still been on there since day one. And if he was trash, he'd be a practice squad player, not a fucking starting player, you know? So.
And plus, this regime, they aren't married to him. You know what I'm saying? They didn't draft him. You know, he could have easily got cut already. You know what I'm saying? So like they could have easily cut him and gave Adam Plant his spot. You know, the fact that he still has a spot and they got him listed second on the depth chart. That's huge, man.
Hey, if Plant's showing up as much as they claim he is, why hasn't he taken Kuntz' job then?
Right.
So obviously
right.
he ain't showing up more than Kuntz apparently.
Right.
It's just people ain't talking on Kuntz like they are Plant. That's the only difference. Like at the end of the day, Ziegler knows Kuntz is a better player, and when they get out here and play in the preseason and get to see the rotation this year, it's probably going to show up. And don't get me wrong, Plant's probably a really good player, and he's probably going to be a really good player. But the thing I've always said is where people overtalk people real fast. They say, "Well, look at Plant, look at this." Well, and the first things I say is, "Well, if Kuntz sucks so bad, why hasn't he been cut and Plant gained that spot already?"
Right.
Like if it's a clear-cut decision already, why haven't they done it? Like I can see Willis being cut for sure, dude. But to say like Kuntz at 26 years old is going to be cut for a 31-year-old dude, you're getting old on your team, not young. You need young players to make transitions. I don't know. It doesn't matter if it takes Kuntz 3 years to get where he needs to be. They don't need him till he's 28 years old.
Exactly.
They don't need him from 28 to 31. They're going to do the same thing with another guy that they draft the same fucking way. So they're not looking for commitments with these dudes. They're just looking for short tenders to be able to get the production out of them, to maybe 1 or 2 contracts through these players, and already have their replacements coming behind them as they go. That's how the Patriots did it for so long and made such good teams, was having those player depth, being rotation every few years to replace dudes or take over when one gets injured. And hey, like I said, they have that.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think the biggest thing with Kuntz, he honestly, if he has a decent season this year, we can actually sign him to a long-term contract, kind of lock him up before he explodes. Because I really think it's gonna, sooner or later he's gonna start balling. Let's go ahead and lock him up for a couple years, before, because if he goes out here and just somehow just starts balling, gets 8-something sacks, he's going to price himself out of us. He'll be like Robert Spillane and go somewhere else. Someone else will give him an opportunity. If he just stays under the radar, just long enough for us to sign him to, a 2-3 year deal that's cheap, man, that's going to pay big dividends for our squad.
Yep. So to add on to this, a few guys or a couple guys that I want to look out for. I know he's a new acquisition, but it's not like he's a veteran though. But Jacoby Myers, man, this is a guy I've been hearing about a lot in camp. When I was on vacation, I actually saw him at LAX, but I didn't notice him until he passed by. Like, man, I was walking through. Guy looked for him like, oh, wait, is that Jacoby Myers? Like, man, it's like we've been hearing a lot about him from camp. He's been working with Devontae, working with Hunter. Devontae's had a lot to speak about him. He's been getting off on his routes, high-pointing balls in the red zone, pause. But it's like, man, he's doing a lot. Like, he could lock down that 2 spot. You got him, Adams, and Renfro. That's deadly. And then you have the burners in DJ Turner. Like, that is just deadly right there. That's deadly.
Nah, that's a good point. I think I'm very excited about Jacoby. Honestly, I think this will be his best season. Because again, teams are going to, especially without Josh Jacobs, they're gonna do everything in their power to take Devontae out the game. Jacoby's going to get a lot of one-on-one matchups, and he's going to dog the number 2 corner from any team in the NFL. He's beating them one-on-one. I don't care who it is. Renfro the same way. Renfro's going to beat any,
Any slot
any slot corner 1-on-1. So I really think Jacoby's he's gonna turn out, man, because I think that he had a decent year last year with Mac Jones, but that whole offense was just trash because McDaniels left, and they basically had what was his name running?
Assistant calling plays.
Yeah. I'm like, they had yeah. So I mean, I don't know, man, but I really think I love everything I hear about Jacoby Myers. Undrafted dude, works his ass off, and that's the kind of people that McDaniels likes, man. Those guys that are hungry. I think this is the first time we've ever had, at least for like the 90-man roster that we have now, I think half or over half were not drafted. So that shows that mentality of the team, like everything's earned. There's no old Al Davis scholarships that were given back in the day. Like if you got a spot, you're going to earn that damn spot, and I love it.
Yep.
Yeah, the one thing I'm hoping for Jacoby is, even though he had QBs like Mac Jones or like he had play callers like Matt, I'm pretty sure it was Matt Patricia.
Yeah,
that's his offensive play caller. I'm hoping that his red zone abilities got better, because obviously, like if we need to like make it to the end zone, not to the red zone, like we can rely on Jacoby. Like he'll be able to get us there. It's just scoring. Hopefully, he can improve himself on that, because his red zone abilities have been kind of like either 50-50 or they're still in development. So I hope, hopefully, with everyone gunning for Adams, and then whenever we're in the red zone, obviously they're going to be gunning for Renfro, because that's where he prospers the most.
Gunning for Renfro,
and then Michael Mayer. You got Mayer. Mayer gonna work that middle. Pause.
Yeah, Mayer's been balling out, especially in the red zone.
And even in camp right now, Jimmy has been hooking up with Jacoby in the red zone a lot more than anybody else. So, and I spoke on that a month back when everybody was talking about Jacoby and Renfro. I said, like, some quarterbacks are going to gel better with certain people just in general. It doesn't matter what the person's name is. They may gel with somebody else because it's just how they feel with them. And in this take, it's Jacoby over Renfro. Now, will Renfro get inside and get his touchdowns? Yeah, he's going to get in there. But the thing that I've noticed that I think that's been a tall tale so far is Jimmy can score with anybody in the red zone. So he hasn't just been like in camp where you're sitting here saying like it's just Jacoby. It's been everybody. It's been Hooper. It's been Jacoby. It's been Carter. It's been Devontae. It's been Renfro. It's been every fucking guy on the list, dude. Lacey. I mean, it's been every dude down the list, dude, of players on it that Renfro or Jimmy is scoring in the red zone with, and he did that even within the Niners camp right here, right now, where he gelled in there with fucking Carter, Hooper, fucking Devontae, Trey. He's been in there with numerous players already. So, like I said, I think there's a different type of person when you look at the camp where they're sitting there saying like, hey, Jimmy, when he played the Niners right now, he dissected the shit out of him, dude. Like, he played really good ball. He played that against a good-ass defense. Now, if the defense isn't number 3 this year and say it's 10 or 12, it's still a very productive organization with a very productive defense. So for him to be able to go in there and slay against them the same exact way 1 year later on a different team just shows that Jimmy knows football. He knows it with the players, and I think he's going to do it with anybody, in my opinion. So I just think he has way more options to do it with here this time, you know?
No, that's true. And plus, I mean, Jimmy's not going to force it. You know, he's going to look at his pre-snap reads, and he's going to have an idea where he wants to go. So, you know, Carr, and again, I don't want to talk about the former quarterback, but, you know, sometimes he may be locked in on someone regardless of what the look is going to be. I'm going here.
Yep.
Hey, Jimmy's almost
that's what Devontae. He got force fed. Like,
yeah,
everyone got hurt. He was force fed, man.
Yeah, and I think Jimmy, hopefully he's gonna have that Rich Gannon approach where it's like, I'm running this offense. Jerry Rice, as much as I love you, if they got a game plan to stop you, I'm gonna throw it to Tim Brown because he's gonna be wide open a lot of times. So it's like whoever, you know, week by week, whoever is gonna be open and whoever you know, whatever is going to, you know, combat against what the defense does, it's going to be, the place that he goes. So, there's going to be certain days that Renfro goes off, certain days Jacoby goes off, certain days Trey Tucker may go off. I mean, Devontae's going to get his, but we're not going to force it to him,
Yep. Also, man, a second guy that I want to talk about who could be a breakout. I'm gonna go to the secondary real quick and just say Christopher Smith, man. I feel like he could. We could see some snaps out of him in the preseason. I know we've already highlighted Jacorian Bennett. He's up there too, but to keep things, add a little bit of flavor, have to throw in a little love to Christopher Smith, man. Because he was highly taught out in Georgia. He's not he went to a big school. It's not like the pressure. It's not like, oh, he came from let's say a D3 school and he doesn't have any pressure on him. He knows what it's like to be under those lights, man.
That's true. Yeah, no, he's Christopher Smith. I think he's gonna be a beast. I do think this is gonna be more of a red shirt type year for him. I think he'll sit back and learn. To be honest, I can't lie. I wasn't expecting this from Marcus Epps. I can't lie. He's
same here.
Yeah, he's definitely exceeding my expectations. Because in my mind, I was like, Christopher Smith can come in here and maybe take a spot from Epps, and I don't know actually which safety spot he usually plays. Because I always had
Epps.
Yeah.
So the thing is that
safety.
So the thing is he can play both, but he primarily likes to play free safety.
In the box.
That's where I was questioning a lot. Are they putting pressure on Trayvon Moore because Trayvon's a free safety?
Yeah.
But also another thing to note is Patrick Graham, especially in training camp a lot, he's been using a lot of the three safety sets, specifically a safety spin where you don't know which safety is in cover and which safety is just there to just go after the quarterback or the running back.
Yeah.
The one thing I thought so they're gonna throw Smith in there right away. Apparently though, they've been having Paulo Malo play more snaps.
I've been hearing a lot about him, man.
So, I've been hearing a lot about him too.
Paulo Malo apparently has been showing out in camp a lot, especially in joint practices against the Niners. So we could see a lot more of him during the regular season, especially in preseason. They're probably going to want to know if he's being legit or it's kind of just luck on his side right now at the moment.
Yeah, and I think that Smith and Paulo are going to get rotation regardless because I've said it that. One, Epps is not a covered safety, dude. He is a run-stopping safety inside the box. He gets after the quarterback. He seeks out the runner, dude. Is basically what Epps does. I've said Epps is what everything Abrams was supposed to be. And when you play a player like Epps like that, you play them down, which leaves you a safety over the top like Paulo or Smith that has coverage skill that protects over the top of fucking dudes like Peters or Bennett. So I've said this is designed for this to be played like this, and Smith and them will get rotational play. I guarantee it. Smith and Paul will 100% get rotational play. It's just Morick. Morick is more of the one dude out on the island, dude, where he's going to be designated to be the best at his position. Bill Belichick always said that he's not looking for you to be the greatest player on the field. He's just looking for you to be the best at your position. That's all he's looking for. And I think Morick will be that player. And I think whenever they rotate with Morick, it's going to be Smith or Paulo to begin with. For me, I think Smith and Paulo are designated to play over the top. And I believe that Epps is more designated to play inside the box and underneath. I think that's what he's going to be brought here for. And I think Morick is going to be played to play over the top, over a section, and linger in the backfield. I think that's exactly what they're going to do. And Teamer, and I think Johnson would probably have a better chance here on the team just because he can rotate within those players. So that's what I think. I mean, like I said, I think you got I think Smith I'm high on Smith like a motherfucker. So I think, like I said, he can most definitely be a really good player on our team, rotational over this next year for sure. And he'll be one of those dudes where you only see him a few times a year, if you see him at all, So he can just be a guy that comes to the game and he can be put as a fucking what is it, a healthy scratch, just because they want to bring them, season them, just get them to the game, put them in the gear.
Yeah.
You know, like they do that with a lot of people all the time. I said this with Brown, Britton Brown, and so on like that. That's how you develop and season players, is take them on the road, get them in those big game atmospheres. Some of those dudes don't come from those big schools, and some do come from big school atmospheres that know nothing but winning, never losing. So I've always said you have to treat the people. Why do you think so many people that come from the biggest schools with the biggest win streaks go to the shittiest teams in the NFL and never win nothing? Because those dudes have never lost, dude. They don't know. They're like, what the hell? You know, like, what the hell? Like, they don't know
how to handle that.
I mean, the biggest example, Trevor Lawrence, where they say like, "Oh yeah, this dude's never lost a single game since high school," and then next thing you know, the dude's lost every single game the moment he's.
But he has true dog in him like Herbert. He has true dog in him like Herbert, dude. I've always said the thing I've loved about Herbert in Oregon, which I have said if we were going to switch off Carr at the time, I would have went for Herbert at the time. Just because he's a player that refuses to lose to win, dude. Like he knows what it feels like to lose to win. Like there's a difference. He didn't go to fucking Georgia, Alabama, all these big ass schools. Yeah, that are 4 years, dude, that never lose one fucking game. And if they do lose one, they come back and destroy them by 50 or 60. You know, like Lawrence. You know why Lawrence is going to be good, and you know he's going to be good? Because he went through a whole entire year in a shitty fucking team. He only knew how to win, dude, so it was eating at him day in and day out. That destroys people. That actually 86 quarterbacks out of the NFL that
and
bad.
He got better.
Hell yeah. He came out year two like, hell, I'm going to destroy your ass, dude. Like, I'm going to destroy you. Like, that's a guy you're going to have to most definitely watch out. And Jacksonville, just because of that reason, may become a good fucking team and be watched at for the next 5-10 years because of Trevor Lawrence's demeanor, where he says, like, I refuse to fucking lose. And when you have those type of players, that can change your whole entire organization, man.
Not only that, but he helped Doug Peterson revive his head coaching career too, especially how it was one of the most significant games of the year was Doug Peterson going toe-to-toe against his former head coach, Andy Reid. Like, that game was very interesting to watch.
And that's the thing I bring up about Aiden O'Connell is Aiden O'Connell has that dangerousness in him too, because he comes from a place where I've spoke on this 100 times. He was the eighth. Yeah, he was the 8th quarterback on the depth chart, dude. Most people would take the transfer portal, transfer out, go look for another school, try to get a starting. Yeah, he fought to get to the number one, and then when he got to number one, he still fought in college to be able to stay up there and be a competitive name and team from a team that was nothing. Like, Aiden is a guy you have to watch out for, because Aiden is a dangerous player in the NFL. You cannot predict this type. Yeah, damn right. You can't predict what he's going to do. You can't predict what he's going to do or the outcome of him at any given moment, because at any given moment his light might kick on and say, "Fuck you guys, I ain't losing today." Like he took on Alabama and them and Tennessee and all these dudes, and he put up 500 yards with 5 touchdowns, dude. He didn't go out there and weep down and say, "Oh, we're only worth 2 touchdowns." He went out there and said, "Hell no, bro. Like, you guys may be big, but I'm gonna still be bigger." You know, like, and that's all I'm saying. When you get the dogging dudes like that, that's hard to get out, man.
One thing that was very significant, speaking of O'Connell, is me and Dustin were checking this out, where Jacorian Bennett and Aiden O'Connell went against each other like their last year of college before they got drafted. In that same game, O'Connell, like, he had, I think, like maybe close to like 75% of his passes completed. He had like nearly 400 yards. He threw 2 touchdowns, and he had 1 interception. That 1 interception, I'm pretty sure, came from Jacorian Bennett. And Jacorian Bennett, during that game, when Purdue and Maryland went against each other, he allowed a passer rating of, I think, like, what, a 4, a 6?
Yeah, for Bennett.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so even though O'Connell was having like a really great game, Jacorian was having an outstanding game.
Yeah, he shut down that whole entire side over there, dude, when he was in on that game.
Yeah. Guys, to wrap it up here, we're just gonna go with the last part. the staple of what we think is going to happen tomorrow. The score predictions in our
6.3.
player of the game. Player of the game in our score predictions. Dustin, if you want to start off, go ahead, man. We'll go around the panel.
No, you guys go, but I want to say Sergio is 6.3 for the QBR in that game.
Okay.
That's what I say. And just to piggy off it before we go real quick is in that game, O'Connell still had a great fucking game. Bennett just shut that shit down, bro. Like I said, in that game, Bennett freaking. So it said Bennett allowed 2 receptions for 23 yards on 6 targets while adding 3 PBUs and an interception with a 6.3 QBR allowed. So
and exactly what I was saying about the chess match thing.
Yeah, he got 2 receptions on him, right? So 2 passes were completed for 23 yards, right? Out of 6.
Yep.
The other 4 were
no
PBUs, 3 PBUs, 1 interception.
That's
like
crazy.
He shut that fool's ass down,
insane,
bro.
Man.
And that's also on the other side of Deontay Banks, who was he was a dog in college. Deontay was a dog.
It says over his entire college career, Bennett has allowed 22 receptions in man coverage for a 52.5 QBR. In that same span, he recorded 23 forced incompletions, 4 interceptions, 19 PBUs. In 2022 alone, 7 receptions and 9 forced incompletions, plus a 22.7 QBR rating. Says spiking the ball every snap is a 39 QBR. So if you were to hike the ball and just hike it and spike it, would be a 39. This fool had a 22. Like that's the thing. Like people don't be sleeping on this dude. This dude a fucking straight sleeping gem, bro. And he showed up. Like he showed up, man. So long story short, I didn't mean to cut off that deal. I just wanted to put it out. But you can go back, AJ.
Man, just another quick thing to add on what you were saying about that. In college, what college? I'm trying to remember, but at I think it was at Maryland. Deontay Banks was like, he's like the guy. I don't want to target him, so everyone's like, you know what? We'll test Ja'Cory Bennett, and he was equally the same, even better as
Pick
well.
Your poison.
Yup.
Yeah, and that shit was straight poison. Like that didn't even have there was no fucking dilute. There was no dilute. Like there was no woman going over there dropping shit up in your water bottle that's like a fucking gallon. Like she was just like straight up handing you the bottle that said fucking poison on that bitch. You know, like literally. So like there was no diluting that shit. And that's why I think this guy's tendency. So look, the thing that people gotta look in Bennett, right? When Bennett was in college, he probably never had the likes of a Peters mentality sitting there saying like, hey, bro, I come from the fucking streets, kind of like how I am sometimes on here. I don't mean to be. It just comes out in me because that's just where I'm from and what I've grown up. So I always look at that type of stuff in the field because that shit relates back to people. Because when this dude's over here acting weak and he has a guy like Peters that's like, look, bro, where we come from, you get weak, you're fucking done with.
Yeah, Peters rocking out with
you may be dead. Like you may straight be fucking dead, period. So like you can't be fucking around like that. And that's why I think those types of players exceed and excel because they have that street life mentality where they come from, where they refuse to, like, you're not going to tell me I can't, like straight up, tell me I can, I'll show you I can. I lived on that my whole entire life. That's why I'm where I'm at, dude. People told me you're going to be in jail. You ain't never going to be this. You're never going to, yeah, fuck, you're stupid. Watch, sit back and watch the show. You know, like that's where I think most people play at their best. And I think having a dude like Peters is helping a guy like Bennett pop up that fast because Peters is over there telling him like, bro, you're better than that. You can fucking get that. You can challenge him. You can push him. Like you can get on Adams. Like you have the speed. You have the play. Like you have a guy that's confident in you, and you have a dude that's multiple Pro Bowler, been on great fucking teams, has the most interceptions in all football, and he's your freaking he's your cheerleader. You know what I mean? So that's why I think Bennett will develop a lot faster because of those reasons right there. And not only that, Peters is backing his shit up Weiss, ain't it? So that's a big reason why he'll probably do it too.
Yep. And also to finish off the show, if you want to start us off, Chris, with our score predictions and our MVP of the game for tomorrow's matchup against the Santa Clara 69ers, man. 49ers, whatever you want to call them, man.
Yeah, for sure. So it's always hard for preseason because you just don't know who's gonna play how much. But I think that I could see it being like 17 to 13 us. I think the person that's really gonna get a lot of snaps and it's gonna really show out. I think it's gonna be O'Connell. I think O'Connell's gonna really play well. I think Hoyer will probably only get like a series or two, and then I think O'Connell will play probably well into the third quarter, and then they may give Chase. They'll probably give Chase the fourth quarter or something. But I think McConnell he'll show out. I got McConnell throwing 2 touchdowns, man.
Yep. So to add on with my score prediction, man, I'm thinking it could be like a little bit of scoring, but it's not going to be anything crazy. From what I think, I'm thinking I'll take 29-23 us. I feel like there could be some back and forth here and there, but I don't think it's going to be a lot. It may be a bit, but I'd say probably about either 29-23 or like 26-20. I feel like 26-20 would be something that I'm comfortable with just score-wise. And I'd say MVP, I'd say possibly – let me think. I'd say possibly if he gets some run, he could start going off, man. I'd say possibly O'Connell or Tucker. Either Trey Tucker or Aiden O'Connell.
I feel that.
Yeah. Sergio, you got anything to add on?
If I can make a score prediction, if it's Raiders winning, I'm gonna have it be 16-20. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have it be 16-20. Thought about being 16-23. It's probably gonna be 16-20 though. One thing I think is going to be heavily used is for 2 things on the offense. I think they're going to try to implement the run game a lot using
I agree.
Sincere. And I think they're going to want to use Sincere too. Sincere's a guy that I'm just hoping balls out. Yeah. With O'Connell, I think whenever they want to do a pass, I think they want to try to do a deep pass with Tucker, like we're saying. See how that goes out. Yeah, that's kind of like how I'm seeing it. I think for the Niners game, I think they're going to want to implement the run a lot. Like, they want to show out, like, hey, we still got the run game going. Like, we know what we're doing with the run game and everything, even though, like, it doesn't matter if Jacobs is out or not. Like, and even though it's preseason, like, we want to show that, like, our backups or the guys that could be the starter are still, like, good enough to, like, bulldoze some guys.
Yup.
For me, man, I think we're gonna kick the fuck out of them Niners because they're garbage as shit. And I think we're gonna be 30-13, man. Like I think it's gonna be 30-13, man. 31-13 or 30-13.
31. Gee.
Yeah, 31-13 or 30-13.
That was probably the score during the
game, man.
Aiden O'Connell, MVP,
5
3 touchdowns. 3 touchdowns, 200 yards. 3 touchdowns, 200 yards. I think the Niners QBs suck. They're straight trash. I think that we get 3 turnovers and Bennett gets 1 interception.
Oh, don't forget Trey Lance is the starter.
Yep, Trey Lance is starting the first.
That's why I say they're gonna make him see flashbacks. He's gonna be saying, "I see ghosts. I see ghosts." So he's gonna be over there sweating it. So to me, I think we're gonna get after these dudes, man. Like literally, I think they're literally gonna get after. And dude, like I said, I think Aiden can get 3 touchdowns with 200 yards because it's going to be more considered on Zeus running the ball, putting them down in good places. I don't think you technically have to have high yardage to be able to have a lot of touchdowns. Field for getting turnovers, things, these factors will allow Aiden to be able to be put into those situations to begin with. And I think with Max probably not even going to be out on the field, I think it's a good point to watch in the game for his leadership from the sideline, for how players are playing on the field with Graham and everybody, because he's going to be a huge advocate of how the defense is going to keep that energy in play without him physically being the leader on the field at the time. So that's why I feel like we're going to get some turnovers. Like I said, I think we're going to get 3 turnovers in that game and 1 interception. Aiden, like I said, I'm just hoping, the idea is as long as he scores 1 or 2 touchdowns would be ideal. That would just show, like he's actually progressing up, but the thing is I'm just hoping 3 touchdowns, 200 yards. That way, when we get to the next game, he can have some backup to go, because in my opinion, at the end of the day, when you're trying to solidify a quarterback of your future, regardless if you're going to sit on him for a year or not, you don't want to see him coming out and just having 100-yard game and struggling in and out of possessions. You want to be able to see him go downfield, have good possessions, if not get down by the field goal, to the end zone, and at least kick a field goal every time. So it shows that he actually does have the development in him to be able to be a good quarterback. So for me, like I said, I'm hoping every time he gets there, he sees it, because in every report that I've seen, he's great in the deep pass, dude. He's on point, accurate as shit. He's got really good connection with them in short and medium passes. They said he's looked the better quarterback of all of them on the field to begin with. Hoyer, I mean, I can give 2 shits. You know what I mean? Like, the guy's here is if Jimmy or somebody gets hurt at the end of the year and you need somebody to come in and finish out a game. If we're looking at Hoyer at any given point in the season to go out here and win a Super Bowl or a playoff run, you can just kiss that shit goodbye. You know what I mean? Like, I would take my chance with Chase, Garbers, and Aiden instantly over Hoyer. I think I've always said Hoyer is a good quarterback. If you're in the 4th or 3rd quarter, dude, and you're up by 17 and your quarterback goes down and you need to get out of that game with that win, I think he would be the perfect guy to have there. But to sit there and say that you're going to load up in week 1 or 2 and say that this is the guy we're rolling down the season with, and the point to the conversation is I don't see any point to play him in the preseason. Like, I can really give a shit if he throws a ball or looks good or not, because there's no point in the season I want to see him be our quarterback, and that's just honest. Like, it's nothing against him. It's that when you're looking as a Raider fan and you're looking at 2 young players in Chase Garbers and Aiden O'Connell, I would rather see something in my future in these 2 dudes than something that we already know has been in the backup for the last fucking 10 years.
We know what Hoyer is. We already know what he is.
Exactly. So outside of that, like I said, I think we're 30-13, 31-13. Aiden is my MVP, and I hope our defense kicks it up, dude. And outside of that, if we're able to do that to that defense, you got to always keep in mind, man, that's a very steady franchise to begin with, man. So they're not just a slouch franchise. So outside of that, it'll be a good gauge on our first game. Like, it's going to be a good gauge.
It'll be, man, whatever happens, man, hope we can pull out the W, man. I think it's about that time. If you guys have any final thoughts, then we could. And just see how everything goes tomorrow.
Yeah, man. I just want to say thank you guys for inviting me on the platform, man.
Thank you for being here.
No doubt, man. I'm looking forward to seeing more from you, man. More lives from you. Just keep up that good fight, man. And Dustin, Raider Stat, I always appreciate all the content you guys do, man. You guys are top notch in the community, so thank you.
Hell yeah, I appreciate you coming, man, and supporting them and being here for all of us. So I mean, and like I said, on minutes' notice, you gave an answer that fast and was good. 2 weeks, man. Like I said, it was an easygoing, really good guy. I've said, like, the more I've got to notice you in the community and I've tried to get to know you, bring you out, have you on our show, in here, anywhere. Like I've always said, we always try to reach out to everybody and be part of. Just like AJ, he's a huge part in DSR. He wants to do his deal. We're going to support him and help him, dude, because he's earned it and he deserves it. And like I've told him, we're here to help him do anything that can help him build his and anybody else's platform here, because at the end of the day, I've always said, more knowledgeable Raider fans, more knowledgeable Raider content creators is going to help develop the community. You don't want just any fucking buddy out there because they're spewing bullshit. Nobody wants to hear bullshit, you know. So AJ's a really smart kid. He's a really good kid. He's very hardworking. He's very loyal to what he does. I've spent a lot of time with him over the last year or so. I've said I couldn't meet a better kid, and him and Sergio are two perfect examples of where you can be and what you can do in this community if you use the platforms in the right ways. And I've always said, support these guys with everything you can, because they're your future, man, and they're really good at it, and they're really honest, and they're really straightforward about it, dude. And they're kind of just like I am in a lot of ways, dude, where they're not going to just buy into people's bullshit. They're going to ask questions and not just settle for, okay, you said it, I'm agree. Like, you got to always question questions, man, to get that actual answer, just to know that it's okay. You know, like, it's easy when people say something and people to agree, but there's nothing wrong with asking why, to figure out why he has that motive or intention. And if it's the same, then there's nothing wrong with it. It's that sometimes when you ask that, it might be a different intention. So that's all I would say. And outside of it, I've said, like, I appreciate you showing up for him and showing up for us and being here. Like I said, with stats, you know, always solid as hell. AJ, the same with you, bro. And like I said, we hope to do something like this more and more each week to grow his channel and to grow him as a content creator himself. So, like I said, appreciate all of you guys, man.
Man, first stream, 2-4 live, officially in session, man. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Thank you, everyone. Thank you to the panel, man. Chris, Sergio, Dustin, man. Hopefully we could do it same time next week, man.
Heck
and
yeah.
Be ready for the Rams, yeah.
Heck yeah, man. We'll have more to talk about on these teams, man, after Sunday for sure. So outside of that, if you guys don't have nothing else to say, we'll end the deal here. And it was a great live. Appreciate everybody here tonight, man. And thank you for your time, man.
Yes, sir. Raiders all day, baby.
Hell yeah. Hey, I'm getting one of these pendants from frickin' Critique right now, man. He got one of them. He hit me up before the show.
Coins, yeah,
dude. Fuck yeah, I'm buying that thing, dude. Straight up.
That thing is sweet, man. I wanted to get one, but I was like, I'll wait till next time.
Yeah, they would go through that auction or how he does that giveaway. I'm like, bro, you get one, you just tell, I'll buy that thing right this second, man. Like, yeah. He hit me up before the show. He was like, I got one, man. I'm like, hell yeah, I don't get that. They're fire, bro. So like I said, hey, Critique does a great job too, man. Yeah, Critique does a great job, man. Check him out, dude. He's always giving away these coins and stuff inside of his channel. They're actually really cool, man. So, like I've always said, for me, like with the Raiders, it's always the littlest thing. Raiders means a lot to me. It doesn't matter. I've always said it's not big material. It's stuff like this, you know, just shirts, patches, things of those factors. Like, I'm huge on things, those, like my wall with my jerseys, a lot of Raider deal. And when I seen those type of coins and shit, it was an instant stride for me because it's something simple. It's something I can go to the game, throw on a chain, dude, look on it. Same with Arizona bling. That's another one of my buddies down there, dude. He throws out some fire chain shit like that. So again, throw out a shout out to him, man. If you find him on Instagram, I think it's AZ Bling, bling in there or so, but he does really good chains and stuff like that too, man. His is really, really done up shit, you know. But like I said, Critique does a great job in it, man. So if anybody hasn't watched this show or see him, go over there, check him out. But man, he does a great deal. And I didn't mean to cut it off at the end, but when he popped up that emblem or that pen, I was like, hey, I gotta talk that shit.
Yeah, like, man, I got my 83 ring right here. It's all the little
hell things, yeah, let me see that shit again. Pick that up.
Man, the 60th anniversary banner right there, the last season in Oakland.
Showing that fucking mayor poster.
Right oh yeah, man.
Hey, that's 2 fingers deep right there, bro. You gotta be like that, you know, like 2 fingers deep, and that's good.
Drag it over here, man.
Yeah, show them the Michael
good
Myers.
Amount of light, but here it is, man. This is mine, made by me, bro.
Yeah, that's
you made that?
Yeah, we collabed on it and everything.
Yeah,
and yeah, that shit was fire, man.
I got artwork all across the walls, man. I got this Devon Diallo one from when I met him last year. Tim Brown one's like down here, but I'm gonna update that one definitely.
Hell yeah, man. Like I say, outside of that, man, I can go all day. You know, my favorite is right here behind Chris, man. The Woodson, bro. He's my favorite player all time ever, dude. Woodson was kind of the reason why I actually was the way I was. I played halfback safety my whole entire life, dude, all the way into college. So I blew my knee out. And like I've said, like I've always lived by that type of mentality, dude. Like just never give up, never surrender type shit. So I think, like I've always said, I'm not biased to my team at any given point. I've always said I stayed neutral at all times with the players throughout the years, just because it creates too much animosity within the team when you're trying to give fair opinions to the team. I've like Woodson was my favorite all time ever, and I never took side of him when he was here or the Green Bay or not. Once he retired, is like I said, he'll always be my favorite forever because of the fact, just the type of mentality, the never give up, never surrender type mentality, and he carried it well on him the whole entire time. And I'm not gonna lie, that's why I played football the way I did, at the mentality I had in the streets every day. The way I'd walk through life was the way he carried himself through games, just standing over dudes like, yeah, what the hell is up, you know, like. So he was a big part of my life, man. Woodson was a massive part of my life of growing up, especially in the streets, things of coming from just watching him, man. So again, one of my favorite all time, man. So
yeah, same here, man. Like me actually being from Ohio, where or I'm not from where he's from, but you know, him being from Ohio as well. And actually being a Michigan fan, living in Ohio is like sacrilegious here. But just loved him, always loved him. I loved everything about him. And just like you, Dustin, like I played running back and safety as well. And I studied him. Like he's the reason I wore number 2 in high school. And then I wasn't good. Like when I went to college, I had a terrible number. I think I was like 39 or something. But I wasn't good enough to get a good number. But still, it was just like I was all just about him. I used to, wear my band like him. Like I emulated everything he did. Like I remember it was like an urban legend. I remember at one point I heard that Woodson used to take a shot before every game. And I remember I did that dumb shit thinking Woodson did it because he like to get his nerves down. And
yeah,
I was all about him, man. I still am, but he's a true right through. And I love that dude to death, man.
Hell yeah, my room is a Woodson. Like I wish I can show my actual house, but I live in the mountains right here. I have a 300-acre ranch, but the problem is I'm down in the ravine inside the mountain. So the internet there, I have like my phone and stuff, dude, but I can't stream from inside there. And we don't have any type of, well, let's put it like this. I'm not trying to put a fucking HughesNet and pay them, $150 period just to fucking do. I like to play video games, shit like that, so I play on my Verizon, like I have Verizon internet hotspot, so I can play like a game that way, but broadcasting, I can't. And long story short, they say that probably next year they'll have fiber optic down in there and everything like that, so we can do it from there. But I'd love to show out my freaking man cave because I have massive Raider I got a lot of autographs. I got season tickets. I go get my niece works for them. I get autographs from all the players. Anything I can get meetings where we can get signed, shit signed. So it's like I said, I'm huge time dude, and Woodson was always, like I said, just like I said, he's been my favorite dude, man. He was the reason I was actually Raider, like in my opinion, like Woodson was the reason I stayed a Raider for the whole time because of just who he was and the way he stood. And, the things I always used to tell people, dudes would always tell me when we played football, he'd be like, you ain't fucking tired yet? I'd be like, yeah, don't look up for that ball, motherfucker. Like, I tell him straight up, dude, like, you don't worry about me being fucking tired. I'm going to hunt you down in the open field. Exactly. And the thing I loved about high school kids is they were always too focused up where the fucking ball is, dude. And just,
man, I wish I was old as you guys when it came to Woodson, because when I was watching Woodson, he was like the safety for Oakland.
Yeah.
Like, when Woodson came back to Oakland, I think I was like I think I was only like 7 years old, and then so like I only knew him as a safety. So like those my 2 positions that I played the most were safety and receiver, even though I was on like the smaller side. So I was always like in those positions all the time. But my guy, like it wasn't Woodson, it was Michael Crabtree. Like that was the guy that introduced me to like Raiders being fighters and stuff. So like that's when I was like, you know what, I might be a small guy, but I'm just gonna sock some guys on this field just because I always see Crabtree doing that.
Yeah,
so I was just getting the fights and stuff with that because of him.
Hell yeah, him and Talib went at it over there, dude. He's got dog in him, man. Like
Michael Crabtree's my guy. Like he's the one that introduced me to just Raiders, just loving the fight.
How old are you, Stats?
Right now, I'm 18.
Oh man, so you a youngin, man. So
Yeah, that's why I said he gets young.
man. So like you didn't, because I'm trying to think. So damn. So you was born in, god damn. So you didn't even really get the chance to
No, my whole life we've been losers.
fuck. So you ain't,
He was
dang, did
born
you
in
get a chance to even really
2000,
watch
like
McFadden?
2000 fucking 3, dude. Like,
Were you old enough to appreciate McFadden? I loved McFadden.
Nah, I think I was only like 6 or 5 when he
Oh
played.
man, McFadden was my boy. He just stayed hurt. Damn. So yeah, you got a whole different view of the Raiders than we do. Me and Dustin, we done
That's
seen some
why I'm
shit.
like, I talk about this with Dustin all the time. I'm like, I'm more loyal to this fan base, to this team, and I've only seen us lose my entire life.
Yeah, you haven't seen some good teams, man. Like you ain't seen like the Rich Gannon days when he was picking cats apart. Yeah, man.
And I'm
Well,
probably those rare
hopefully
ones,
we'll get
just
back.
because I doubt like when I loved your reaction, because I'm like, I bet he's never seen a Raider fans like under the age of like mid to late 20s.
Nah, I haven't. Honestly, like
if you watch on Instagram right now, there's this little kid, dude. He's about 10 or 12. He's going around to every single camp in Southern California.
Raiders.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
And that fucking guy's all, if you met Devontae
like
and had something that you can say to him right now, what would you say? And he is all Raiders, and he's all fuck,
I like
know,
that
like,
kid.
yeah, and he's all, would you still be a Raider fan if they won any games? And he was like, yep. He was like, even if they don't win one, he's like, yep. Like, that's the shit. That's how I feel. And when you got a kid like that that's sitting in those type of environments with a young kid that has a team like, salute JB and salute, who was the other guy just seen? Oh, Tubby Chili and Frick and the Raiders rundown, man. Appreciate all you guys. But if you're a young kid at his age and being down in that environment right now, and you're seeing the likes of the Ram with Aaron Donald, Cooper Kupp, you got the Chargers with fucking Herbert, Wilson, Keenan, fucking Johnson now, Matt, Bosa, you know what I mean? Like, you got good names and stuff, but they're still loyal as fuck to the Raiders, bro. I've said this even on our show here recently about if we went to LA, we would be empire. We'd be kings, dude. We'd be kings in LA. Nobody would ever come in there and have home field advantage over us. Like, they wouldn't be coming into our house.
Even then, Chargers and Rams still don't even have home field advantage.
No, hell no, not when they
play. That was my
us.
favorite part in the Rams game. Even though we lost that game, my favorite part was when their announcer was trying to say, like, whose house is this? And all you hear is just Raiders.
And the announcer's like, quit saying that shit. I'm tired of hearing that the whole time. It's like, that's why I say, man, we'll get there in Vegas. And I think, like I said, you're going to have to give Josh and Ziegler enough time to get that vibe there, because you have to remember, when we left Oakland, we're a loyal fan base in Oakland. That's where a lot of broke people don't have a lot of money can go hang out, dude, have good parties, hang out with their friends, have a good environment for the weekend. So it was easy gravitation over there. They can't get to Vegas, and those dudes in Vegas ain't loyal to the Raiders like Oakland and LA are, dude. Like, that's been their teams forever. So you're asking for a whole different type of mentality, and in order for dudes to want to pack up out of LA and in Oakland, you're going to have to be winning to begin with, dude. So I don't think, in their opinion, they give two shits about home field advantage when the team is losing. When you're in Oakland, and I've always said, there's a huge difference when you're going there. It's hard to have any other fan base there, just because everybody that lives in Oakland is at that motherfucker, you know? So there's a huge difference. In Vegas, it's not that mentality, but I feel like the more that Josh starts getting the offense shape, the defense shape, giving people and reasons to pack up and say, hey, man, I'm going there for Max, but not only Max, for Chandler to really show up. And you got Spillane, and you got fucking Morick, and you got frickin' Eds, and all. You know what I say? You're talking about 10 different dudes, not just one guy. Guys will pack and go there then, you know? So, like I said, I think we just got to get back to that point, but I've always said I don't think Vegas will ever be Oakland ever again. You're never going to have it. I've been there too many times.
It's a whole different
feel.
I've
been there. Yeah, I don't get the same environment at all. I get like straight party environment, buffet, gambling, party. Like, that's what I get is that.
That's the one thing I hated, was that I never get the chance to be at an Oakland game. The only reason I couldn't was because my mom always said, "No, people get killed in that stadium."
Hey, you will.
It got
You'll get
real. It
stabbed.
got real
Yeah,
in
you'll get
Oakland.
stabbed like a motherfucker. I've always
Yeah,
said
it got real in Oakland. I loved every
Yeah.
minute of it, man.
I always said if you wear a Niners jersey, don't go to the bathroom on game day, bro. Like you probably gonna come out there
Might
fucking
get
bleeding,
shanked.
leaking. Yeah, you're gonna leak, dude. Like they don't fuck around in there. So, and they'll be liable to leak you right there in the stadium where you're at too. Like they don't fuck. Those are some of the biggest fucking straight out wars right there, dude. Fucking that go down, and then you're talking about gang affiliation at that point too, man. So it can get crazy.
Man, that was the one thing that pushed me more into just being a Raiders fan when I was young, was just because when I was starting, like my family was like Raider fans, obviously, but it wasn't until when I got a little older, and then like my classmates, I see they're just repping Niners stuff and like that, and then they start talking trash to me how my team sucks, and I'm just like, when you tell like a little kid like your thing sucks or like you're not gonna be good or anything, I'm like, well, now you're just making me love this team more because now I'm gonna fight for this team.
Hey, I literally fought in Oakland 100 times, like more than
And by the
100
time I
times.
made it to like high school, middle school, it was like as if the teams were gangs. It was just like you either a Raider fan or a Niner fan, and you go on this side of the school.
I feel like in Vegas, when you go inside there, like the vibe I get a lot is like you still have some people like me that are like always walking around just proud as fuck about your team, just looking at any motherfucker like fuck you, all about the Raiders. Like that's how I feel. There is that type of mentality in there, but it's still it's low numbers, man. Because I feel like there was a lot of times, even in last year, where you'd go to a game and I feel like like if I got smart with dudes, I might get jumped by the other fucking team because there's more of those fuckers, you know. But there's still part of me where I'm just like, fuck you, motherfuckers, literally, because that's exactly how I tell them. Why are you hearing a fucking Pittsburgh Steelers jersey and a Seattle Seahawks jersey when the fucking Chiefs are playing? Like that's about the dumbest shit I ever seen. Like that's the shit I call out on people in the stadium all the time.
I hate
you know
that. Why you got a Ben Roethlisberger jersey on? Like,
you know what they tell me all the time? They say, "Oh, my wife's either a Chiefs fan or a Raider fan, and she drugged me to this game on vacation, so I'm gonna wear my shit." Well, fuck your shit, dude. Like
that's the one thing I hate, where it's just all like the rich people that just show up and stuff. And then especially when like the one game that pissed me off the most was I'm pretty sure it was the Cardinals game where everyone like it's not even like the third quarter, everyone's like popping champagnes and stuff like we won the Super Bowl, and I'm like, we're gonna lose this game. We're gonna lose this game just because everyone is celebrating like we won the lottery or something.
Yeah, I think it's a different environment. Like that's why I loved Gruden when he came back, because in the early 2000s and 98 to 2000, like that mentality was created by Gruden, dude. Like the black hole mystique with the fucking Chucky and all that shit. That was some of the craziest times in that stadium. That was some of my first times, dude, and it was fucking nuts, bro. Like it was next level shit inside there. And I say, like, even to this day, I'll still get goosebumps just from the environment that it brings to you being in those situations. And then after Gruden was shipped out after that, dude, and trying to replace that with every single guy and name and it never happened again. And it never felt the same in Oakland again. Like the fan base was always there, but you'd seem dry at some points. It was never like that John Gruden era where it felt like it was on fire at all times, dude. And like you wanted to be like, that was shit like it. For instance, like I'm a Laker fan, but the Kings back when Bibby and all them were there in Sacramento, dude, like that was a time that's where I'm from, you know, Stockton area right there. But long story short, that was a big time deal with that point where everybody and their moms was going. It was a huge deal. And what I'm just using that as an example inside those times and eras, because that's how the Raiders felt, just at a way higher level, you know. And when you try to replace that type of shit, it's very, very hard, dude, because like I said, if you're in Vegas, you go down to one side of the deal, it feels like you're in a fucking, like you're in a nightclub fucking environment where dudes are just there to party because the place is so fucking big. You're going to have like all types of different venues going on. And I kind of don't like that shit, because I want, like, for me, I want the college atmosphere in the NFL. Like the college atmosphere is fucking crazy. 100,000 motherfuckers over there just going nuts on their fucking teams, dude. And we're over here talking about we can't get 65,000 loyal fans there every day. You know what I mean? Like some of these college stadiums are 100,000 plus. You know,
Not
so
only
that's
that, but
all
like
I
how
would say.
expensive it is to get there and how expensive the most expensive tickets in the NFL. And then we got Mark Davis over here like, man, I'm pretty upset. Like the fan base doesn't want to come support our team. Can you win games first and make the ticket prices go lower? Like you got
He
the
won't
most
put them lower. He'll keep them there. If anything, they'll just go
you
higher. I
selfish
mean,
a-hole. Like you saying
yep.
that, meanwhile the team's losing and you got the ticket prices that high when we're not even winning. And you over here like shaming us that we're not coming to Vegas to support the team. Like I'm not gonna pay like $700 just to watch the team freaking get demolished.
And I'm back. I had to tiptoe my way in here, man. I couldn't miss out on this. But man, I'm up here eating some Wingstop. Hate to cut you off, Sergio, but I'm up here eating some Wingstop, man. So I just have to chime in a bit.
But yeah, man, I definitely appreciate y'all having me on,
Hell
man.
yeah, we are gonna end it.
This is a good show, man.
Hell yeah.
Yep.
Hey, like I said, it just involves a lot, man. But like I said, we can end the show. I just got off on that damn pennant, dude, and then that's why I say Raiders breathe Raider topics, man. It's just one.
Man, we gotta do that.
I've always said when you're from that area, any little things bring up big stories. You know what I mean? So.
Man.
Sure.
But
like
I'm from the Bay Area myself. I'm from San Jose, so it's like that's Niner territory. Where it's like I came in there. I'm originally like born and raised in the East, like born in the East Bay. Been out there since like second grade. Moved out towards San Jose my third grade year. It's like I've grown up as a Raider, wearing all the Raiders here. Like man, Carson Palmer, like Randy Moss. We could go on and on. Like
Yeah,
Darren McFadden too. Like,
I'm from Modesto, where like half of the town is like Niners, the other half is Raiders. So like you have to live in designated places. Like if someone moves to Modesto, like it's like as if you have to say what ethnic group are you? Are you a Niner or Raider fan? You're a Raider fan. You have to live over here.
Yeah, and I think the craziest thing about California is you're either a Niner, Raider, or a fucking Cowboy fan. Like it's the craziest fucking shit, dude. Like. Yeah, and then you're going to get Pittsburgh fans out of there for whatever fucking reason. Like, I don't get it, but California got some crazy fucking deal. Like, I've even asked, like, you don't like the Chargers? Nah. Fucking, you have Rams? Nah. Like, who the fuck is a Charger and Rams fan over here, motherfuckers? Like, I keep running into Cowboy fucking fan, fucking Raiders, Niners. Like, I don't know.
Hey, did you see when the Rams, they won the Super Bowl? They tried to have that parade. Yeah, it was like the smallest parade you'll ever see.
Hey, facts. All right,
it's like watching a WNBA team's parade, bro.
Oh my god.
Hey, you get 3 people out on the bank. Outside of that, hey, like I said, man, I appreciate everybody that showed up today. It was a great live, man. Again, hopefully we can do it in the future, man. I appreciate you, Chris. AJ's stats. I appreciate AJ having his deal up here and getting, Chris for his first person to come on for his show. So again, like I said, appreciate everybody taking their time coming out inside the chat, man. You can go to the Nightbot. It'll have everybody's links, everybody on the panel, everybody that's been up here on the panel today. You'll see all their links in there. Make sure to give them a follow. Outside of that, man, we'll be back on Tuesday, 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern. Outside of that, I hope you guys have a great night. I always say don't drink and drive. If you do, man, sleep it off, call an Uber, call a friend. I always say you're not going to kill yourself. You're going to probably kill somebody else's family. You know, it's probably the worst thing you can probably do in life, in my opinion, is taking someone's family away from them for no reason. So outside of that, I always say grown man or not, just do it responsibly. You know, that's what a grown man is doing shit responsibly in those type of situations. So outside of that, I hope you guys have a great weekend. Stay safe. Unless you guys have anything else to say, we're bounce out right
here. One quick drink, man.
Salute everyone in the chat. Salute everyone that was watching, anyone that was new.
Man.
Make sure you subscribe to both channels.
Yup. Last thing is, man, 2-4 Live. I'm planning to have it back Friday, so hopefully keep the same panel if you guys want to hop back in. But man, that's the last thing I gotta say, man. Friday, same time. Raiders Rams pregame.
Yeah, it's Friday. I think it'll be an issue because don't you go live Fridays, huh?
Oh yeah.
I got my fan talk Friday. Yeah.
Yeah, we all go live Friday. So we'd have to do it Saturday.
I'll probably try to hop on the show then.
Yeah, because we can always do, like I said, we can figure out a time throughout the week and do it. That's not an issue. So it's just like I said, you're about to enter a time span where everybody is going to go
Everybody.
back live and
Yeah.
then getting time slots. That's why we went through the last 2 weeks, flexing out different days and so on. So I think, like we said, we're going to go Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday. That way we stay with our main, just not doing Monday nights or Thursday and getting caught in between those 2 nights of content in there. So like I said, it's going to be live, but like I said, we can figure out a time for your deal and we'll most definitely run with it whenever you need it. So
yeah, just give me a call, man. I'll definitely try to pull up, man, if I'm free, man, to support you.
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah.
Man,
Outside of that, I hope you guys
man.
all have a great night, and you guys don't have anything else. Peace out.
All right, take care, fellas.
Peace out, man. Don't drink and drive, guys.
The autumn wind is a pirate, blustering in from sea. With a rollicking song he sweeps along, swaggering boisterously. His face is weather-beaten. He wears a hooded sash, with a silver hat about his head, and a bristling black mustache. He growls as he storms the country, a villain big and bold. And the trees all shake and quiver and quake as he robs them of their gold. The autumn wind is a raider, pillaging just for fun. He'll knock you round and upside down and laugh when he's conquered and won.
The king and his men stole the queen from her bed,
Touchdown!
bound her and her bone.
Hammer Jones takes it
The seas be ours, and by the powers where